Hello, welcome back to Good Germs Off-Road Adventures, and welcome back to more Striker, not issues this time, more of a simple little upgrade. To talk about it, we're going to go inside. I've got the air conditioners in here just a humming. You know, in the last Striker video, which was either last week or the week before that, whenever that happened, we replaced the main transfer switch so we could get 110 power back in here. So now we have 110 power back in here, but we've got another issue. And it's not an issue, nothing's broken, more or less. A while back, like a year ago, a little less than a year ago, upgraded to lithium batteries on the toy hauler, and I really like the lithium batteries. And then at some point I ended up adding another couple of solar panels, but the converter that comes in the trailer simply would not change profiles to charge them. So we're going to address that today. Stick around. Let me show you what I'm on about. Any RV is going to come with a converter for the most part, and it's going to take your 110 to 120 volt current and turn it into 12 volt DC, and that's to charge your batteries. Generally they work pretty well, and this one actually does work well as well. However, if you upgrade to lithium batteries, they require more volts than what the lead batteries do. Lead batteries usually 13.5 or so, 13.6, whatever on the volts to charge them. Lithiums, however, need 14.5 volts. A fully charged lithium battery is, it's pretty much 13 and a bit volts. Well, the battery charger converter that comes in most RVs these days should be automatically able to switch over to lithium mode. Let me show you what we've got set up here. As you can see, we've already got this opened up, and quite honestly, this is just later in the same day that we replaced the transfer switch down there. There's the converter. It's a WFCO or WIFCO power converter. Again, this takes our 110 or 120, whatever, and bumps it up to the 12 and 13.5 or whatever it needs to charge your batteries. Supposedly, when you plug in lithium batteries, this should know automatically that you plugged in lithium batteries. And you know that because on the side, which it's not on right now because I actually have it turned off, there's an LED light, and it's either green or blue. And forgive me if I don't remember which colors for which, but one color signifies you're doing lead batteries and another color signifies you're doing lithium batteries. Here's the thing. Mine won't switch over to lithium mode. The manufacturer, WIFCO, they say in the instruction paper that comes with it and on their website that to get it to switch over to lithium mode, you have to plug in lithium batteries, and they've got to be depleted. They recommend fully depleted, actually. I don't feel good about fully depleting my lithium batteries. I don't want to do it, but I have tried to get them down pretty far and bring them back to charge, and they're supposed to automatically switch over. I could not. I've tried it several times. This thing would not switch over to lithium mode. Did a ton of research and discovered nobody can get it to work. Even people that get it to work, it works the first time, and then when they disconnect and reconnect, it goes back to lead mode, and it won't charge the battery. So I'm going to turn it on. I've got it on its own breaker on my panel. I'm going to turn it on, and I've got my solar charger here is disconnected from the panels currently, but it shows the current-ish volts. Like right now, it's saying my system's sitting at 12.9 volts. Hoping that is readable. Oh yeah, 12.9. So I'm going to turn the converter on, and we're going to see where the volts go. That's it. 13 and a half. That's all we're going to get out of this thing. Well, that's not enough to charge lithium batteries. It's enough to make sure that they don't deplete further, but that is not enough to charge them. Let's turn that thing back off. So to fix that, we're going to put a different converter in. So the amp rating on the converter that is currently in the toy hauler, 65 amp. So I wanted to put the same size. I didn't want to go bigger. Just didn't seem like a good idea to me. But I did a bunch of research on the interwebs and ended up on the Amazon website, as you do. And I found a VVOR converter. What I like about this converter is, number one, all the reviews were good. It's got some of the best reviews out there. It's VVOR, which is somewhat of a known brand these days. And you can manually force it into lithium mode. Okay, and it says it's smart right there. See, it says 65 amp smart. Let's get it out of the box. And here it is. There's not much to these. This is obviously where it plugs in. I'm a little bit concerned with the power cord because this power cord doesn't look like the power cord for the other one as far as the plug there goes. So we might have to open this up and switch this out. Don't really want to do that, but it might be a thing we have to do. Don't know yet. And then of course we've got our connections, negative, positive, frame ground, a light, and then you've got your modes here. You've got lead acid, that's not right, lead acid, fixed voltage, and lithium. And if you put it on fixed voltage, you can decide which fixed voltage, I cannot talk, which fixed voltage you want. So there you go. Install of this should be pretty straightforward. Now I've got the air conditioners humming in that trailer to try to cool it down, get it as cold as I can. Because when I go to install this, I've got to cut all the power. All of it. No more 110, no more 12, like I've got to cut everything. So I'm going to let the trailer cool down some more. I think I'm going to look at the back of the box and see about if I'm going to have to change this power cord or not. I really hope I don't. But I guess it's not too big of a deal if I have to. See you soon. Well, I did a little investigation and we do not have to change the power cord. But let me show you why I thought we might have had to figure something out. That's the plug for the converter, the WIFCO converter that's installed already in the trailer. And of course, the Viver unit has a regular 3-pronged cord. But I went ahead and looked at the back of the panel, and I'm going to try to probably turn you upside down so you can see it. But you can see that looks like it'll take both types. So that is fantastic. But in order to put this in, I'm going to have to cut all the power to this trailer, which means I've got to unplug the 110. I'm going to have to disconnect the batteries, and I've already turned off the solar panels. And that's just to make sure we're safe and we're not going to be having any issues. I can't leave the 110. I mean, I can leave the 110 on, but I just want to kill everything. So everything in that panel is dead. But as you know, I can't have the air conditioners running without 12 volts because the circuit boards in there that control them are running on 12 volt while the compressor and all that stuff runs on 110. Anyway, so I'm going to go around, cut all the power. I'm going to start here with cutting the air conditioners off. So I've had these air conditioners running for a while to cool this trailer down because I'm not going to be able to have any sort of cooling, not even the ceiling fan on, whilst we do the work. So those are all turned off. We'll head outside and turn everything else off. Air conditioners all have turned off. We'll come back over to the shop over here and unplug it from the wall. That's just the easiest way to do that. That's fine. And then we'll come over here. We're going to disco the batteries. There's a disconnect inside the storage compartment here. There we go. Off. Now, we should be all turned off. All the lights inside are going to be off, which is great. And we're going to see how quickly we can swap this thing out. Oh yeah, there's no power in here whatsoever. Good. It means I don't have to reprogram the radio. Anyway, we do have a little bit of light coming in from outside right here. That's nice. Ow, sit down. Okay. I've got a little shop light in the compartment. Getting this out should be pretty simple. Of course, this is just the cord that plugs into the back of the panel. We have a positive, a negative, and a frame ground. That's about it. So, it looks like 4mm Allen's up there. I only know that because I've tested it by taking a 4mm Allen and, shoving it in there. And we'll figure out the frame ground once we get it out, I guess. This is a different shape than the one we're going to put in. I hope we don't have too many problems with that. Well, let's just get it out. This bunch of wires here is just run snug and tight. And there's 4 mounting screw holes, and they've only used 2. Because that makes sense. All right, well, here we go. As with the last video, I'm probably not going to be able to stick the camera in there while I'm in there, so I'm going to go ahead and get this pulled apart and catch back up to you. Okay, have the old unit out. Very simple. But one thing worth noting, you'll see black on top, red below that. That's negative is the black, positive was the red. Now, you may have noticed that the black wire was actually connected to the positive, and then the white wire was connected to the negative. They wired a lot of the 12 volt in this trailer, and this is probably going to be true with most trailers. They wired it in a similar fashion to 110, whereas in 110, you don't have a negative. You have a hot, a ground, and a common. Ground, of course, is ground, but you have a hot and a common, and the common is white. The hot is black. So they followed the same thing. So being that the black is hot, they put that on the positive. So you're going to want to really be careful to pay attention to that. On my new converter here, the black and the red, or the negative and positive, are actually reversed as far as what's on top and what's on bottom. So we'll have to make sure we take care to not mess that up, because that would be, well, it would be bad. I'm going to get the screws back out of the back wall, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put the cables on the converter and then figure out the mounting, because it might just be a little easier. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, folks. What is all that racket? Anyway. All right, folks. Let me tell you, it got windy. I had to pull the awning back before we started on this part of the thing. Anyway, I've got the new converter mounted in here, and a little bit different. It didn't take me long at all. 10 minutes maybe. But let me show you what I've done. So this converter, this wire doesn't need to be like that. This particular converter is not as long this direction, but it's thicker this direction. So it wasn't actually going to fit in the same spot. However, the tabs, the mounting tabs that are on the top side, happen to slide up under, or in between this panel and this piece of wood up here. And then I was able to, that slid up far enough that I was able to put the screws into the bottom. Now, the screw on the right down here is only through this thin, very thin, plywood. That's not going to do much, but this other one has a piece of thicker wood that it went into. So this is now actually nice and solid. And now, of course, we have our connections here. The top was positive, which is, remember, our black, like hot. Then we have the negative, and then we have here, our frame ground was here. On the other one, it was on the side. But that should do it. It went pretty smooth, like I said. So what I'm going to do is go back outside, and I'm going to reconnect all of the power. I'm going to plug the, go turn the batteries back on, and then plug the trailer back into power again, and then we'll see if this converter is in fact going to do the thing we need it to do. Okay, folks, let me get down on the ground here again. Okay, so I've got all of the electricities hooked back up. The air conditioners are back on, the lights are back on, so that's fantastic. The converter, the new Vivor converter is hooked up. I have verified, I double checked again that my connections are solid and correct, and I verified that it is also on lithium battery mode, so we're going to go over here, turn it on, and see if we see a difference at the charge rate, and then we can actually look at the app for the batteries and see that they're charging as well. Okay, that's the current state of the batteries. Let's kick on the converter. Oh yeah, and right away we're shooting up in volts. Look at that. Right, and now we're going down. Why are we going down? 14, okay. It's the charger's probably trying to figure out what to do. That is what we want to see. Sorry, I'm shaking a little bit. It's windy outside and I'm kind of laying on my side. It's moving around a little bit, but it's probably what it's supposed to do. And let me look at the thing, and I've got a red light, which is not a bad thing. The red light, sort of there, is actually correct and means lithium. So let's grab the phone and let's get close to where the batteries are, and then we can kind of see what they're doing. Obviously the battery's at the very front. Oh, it's dark up in here. Let's turn on a light. There we go. Okay. Let's open the batteries app. Okay, battery 1. It's 98%, and we are charging, and this battery is pulling in 9.6 amps currently. 13.36 volts, which is great. And I'm showing total power watts, 128 watts. That's going into the battery. Let's check the other one. And roughly the same, which makes sense, right? Because they're tied together. So, that being said, that is fantastic news. Look, I'm going to get this thing, this panel and everything here put back together. I had to remove a piece of wood that was there. This piece of wood to be exact. Searching for heat, weird smells the whole time I'm doing this. This Vivor unit also says it looks for over current protection, polarity issues, all those things, which is good. There's just the smell of new electronics coming out of this cabinet, so obviously I want to keep an eye on it for now. I was also very thankful that this little panel came out easily. They used a pocket hole. put another screw there. Actually, I think what I'm really going to do is put one in the middle, sort of there. And then I'll put one at the bottom. But I'm going to put one in the middle over here too. Just, you know, this thing is just, you know, whatever. There we go. All right. That's pretty much it, y'all. Yeah. Well, I just want to check some stuff. Yeah, everything looks good. I think that'll do it, folks. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. That was just a quick, simple little upgrade, and having y'all keep me company, that was sure nice of you. If you wouldn't mind now, go ahead and subscribe and tell your friends, watch the video and all those things. Every little bit, every subscriber, every minute watched, all of it really helps, and I appreciate it more than I can probably ever say. But that'll do it for today. Listen, y'all ride safe, camp safe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye now.